start of the season tonight. Wright thrilled the Sockers and their fans with 5 goals in an 8-2 win over Dallas. It was 1-0 Sockers second period when Ben Collins scored a shootout goal to make it 2-0 San Diego. And then Tim Whitman set up Wright for one of his 5 goals on the night. He just outruns the defense. Wright's the first Socker to score 5 times in a game since 1987.
With 5 goals, 10,000 at the Sports Arena tonight. One of the Sockers' goal, a penalty kick. Ben Collins, some great footwork, punches it in for the easy goal. But this night belonged to Paul Wright. His 5 goals tonight is one short of the record set by Bronco Segura. On the breakaway here, he punches it in, and the Sockers rip Dallas 8.
Arena tonight as they cream Tacoma 15-4. The 15 goals set new team record. Jacques Ladouceur had 3 of them. This one made it 4-1. Paul Wright tied the team record with 6 goals. Now has 16 on the year. And the Sockers had an easy 15-4 win. Little Tacoma with an all-time high, 15 goals. 3 players did most of the damage. Don't blink or you'll miss the action. Now, Paul Wright, a field day, 6 goals. This right footer got by Mike Deller. Later from the corner, Wright again with a right foot, corner of the net. Then Wright tried another part of the anatomy. He went high in the air, put one in with his head. Then on the restart, Wright with a rocket. No one got close to it. Now Thompson, you see him, scored a hat trick from the rebound. He blasted one home. Then out of the corner, nice little spin move, right footer, scored again. Finally, Usean completed the hat trick with an assist from Paul Dougherty. Jacques Ladouceur also had a hat trick. Westwade on the run, Jacques on the run, poked it into the open net. Next, Tim Whitman set up Ladouceur. The goals kept coming. 15-4, Sockers the final.
Hey, your soccer team doesn't play at home again until next year. It's a funny schedule, isn't it?
Maybe it's smart marketing to wait till all the NFL playoffs, or many of the NFL playoffs.
Biggest crowd of the season tonight in St. Louis. Over 15,000 fans saw the Sockers pound an old friend of the Sockers tonight. Tim Gorsuch was in goal for St. Louis. The ex-Socker goalie got a workout. Sockers 7, Storm 4. There's a shot blocked by Gorsuch, but then Tim Whitman's all over it with the header. He scores there to make it 1-0. It was 3-1 Sox at the half, 4-1 in the fourth quarter when Paul Wright, who's got the ball right here, drills one. He is a great soccer talent. 5-1 Sockers right there as Wright scores. Next, a pretty dandy effort by Ben Collins. He works hard out front right here. And finally, Paul Dougherty comes over and, as he so often does, slams it in. Gorsuch was upset. The fans were upset. And check out Jimmy's reaction. Gorsuch. Oh, my.
St. Louis tonight. And on top of that, the Sockers gave the St. Louis Storm the cold shoulder. Now, Santa's arrival came in front of 15,000 at this game. No score in the second quarter when the Sockers, Tim Whitman finds an open goal and heads it in for a 1-0 Sockers lead. They simply owned this game. They put on a passing display here. Paul Dougherty sets up Kevin Crowe. Sockers are up 2-0. Paul Wright has been on fire lately, and he continued his hot streak by blasting this one in. Sockers rip St. Louis 7-4.
A really nice goal. The Sockers beat St. Louis 7-4. Wes Wade will shoot it in, and Tim Whitman uses his head. 1-0 San Diego, up 2-0. Thompson, you see him with the shootout try. What a play. Hits it off the boards, gets his own rebound, and scores. And what an idea by Usean. Later, Jim Gorsuch caught out in front. Jacques Ladouceur put it in. It was 6-1 Sockers. Gorsuch getting a little upset at this point. Ben Collins can't control, but Paul Doherty will tip it in to make it 7-1. The look on Gorsuch's face tells all. The Sockers won it 7-4.
Okay, but, I'm rounding it out,
She's getting taller.
Paul Dougherty, the Sockers, only 5 feet 2 inches tall. And this guy may be their best player this year. Yeah, guy's smoking it, man. Little Munchkin Gremlins doing it. The Sockers at home tonight against Dallas, where they just own the sidekicks. They've beaten them 22 of their last 23 games here. 6-5 to score tonight. The back and forth game, pretty much third quarter. Here's Paul, as in Dougherty, ties it at 3-3. 2 goals tonight for Dougherty. Here comes the second coming up. That'll make it 4-3 third quarter. Wes Wade, here's Dougherty. Wes Wade would later hit the game winner with only 1 second left. Sox win again here against Dallas 6-5. They are now only a half game back of first place. Now join us. I'm in trouble because
he gave the tickets away for tonight. Marty's a season ticket holder for the Sockers, and his wife and son wanted to go.
I gave to some really nice people that I think enjoyed the game.
They didn't miss anything. Your wife and
my weekend's going to be awful.
You're right, it is, because it was a terrific game. The Sockers continue to amaze. They scored twice in the final minute 30. JT, you listening? Your daddy gave these tickets away. Twice in the final minute 30 to beat Dallas 6-5. That's right. There's a half game out of first place. Sockers are there. This was championship ring night. Former Sockers owner Ron Fowler did the honors. Gave out the rings to last year's championship team members like Paul Wright. Dallas led 2-0 in the second quarter, but check out the passing by the Sockers, especially that one by Brian Quinn to David Banks for the score. Now, Tim Whitman got the Sockers close. Long distance, he blasted it here from the red line. It goes past Joe Papaleo. 3-2 Dallas at this point, and then Quinn helped get the Sockers even with another beautiful pass, the header right there, to Paul Dougherty. So the Sockers got the game winner with just one kick left in the clock. How exciting that would be to be there and actually see that when West Wade scored. So they're now 10-6. Their next home game is Sunday. So Marty, you have another chance on Sunday night when the Sockers host Tacoma.
I'd rather hear you describe it. But they didn't. In a really exciting finish, West Wade literally scored at the buzzer as the Sockers beat the Sidekick 6-5 at the Sports Arena. 3-1 Dallas early third quarter. Tim Whitman blisters it in for San Diego, 3-2 Dallas. Then a pretty goal coming up. Brian Quinn will get it to Paul Doherty, who finishes. Doherty had 2 goals in the game. It was 3-3. It's 4-4 with 1:20 left. Paul Wright can't score, but Jacques Ladouceur does. 5-4 Sockers, but Dallas came right back to tie. Now here's Kevin Crow with 5 seconds left in the game. Gets it to West Wade, and somehow Wade got it past Joe Papaleo. The buzzer, the game is over. The Sockers win it. Just beat the and the Sockers win it 6-5. Good buzzer. The Lakers
Tacoma 9-4 this evening in another righteous game, as in Paul Wright. He continued his great season. 4 goals tonight. That was one. The quick kick is number 2, but number 3 was amazing. He has a man in front of him, puts it right between his legs for the goal. Sockers win it tonight, 9-4.
At the Sports Arena, forward Paul Wright had 4 goals as they had Tacoma Seeing Stars. Sockers won at 9-4. The Stars actually had the early lead. Watch the bicycle kick by Gary Healy to give him a 2-0 advantage. Then Wright went to work. He posts up and scores with the left foot. Then it's Wright blasting one home with his right foot. He even went between the legs of Ralph Black to score his 3rd goal. And watch the control of Paul Wright on his break for his 4th goal of the night. That gave the Sockers a 6-3 lead, and they went on to beat Tacoma 9-4. And tonight they fell behind 2-0 to Tacoma, then came back for a lopsided 9-4 win at the Sports Arena. Paul Wright cut the lead in half. He took a Kevin Crow pass, then spun around, put it right in the net. It was 2-1. Later, that same guy again, Paul Wright, nice move, put a defender away, and it was a 2-2 ball game. 30 seconds later, Ben Collins put a shot on goal, then followed his own rebound, knocked it into the net, and the Sockers were on top. Now, Wright wasn't finished. He put it right between the legs of Ralph Black, right into the net, 4-3 Sockers. Then, Wright came in on the breakaway. He launched one into the back of the net, 6-3 Sockers. And there was more. Brian Quinn to John Kerr, and the Sockers lead was up to 4 goals. Tim Whitman and Paul Dougherty then combined to make it 8-3. Sockers went on to win 9-4. They are a half game out of first place.
Our show, he loves playing soccer, and this is one of those guys who might play till he's 50. But for now, he's going for the goal. Another huge crowd showed up tonight at the Sports Arena to see the Sockers take on the Baltimore Blast and to see the final game, at least this year, for San Diego's Brian Quinn, who leaves tomorrow morning to join the U.S. national team. Quinn got about 6 standing ovations throughout the course of the night, and he performed well. Here's an assist to Thompson Usian early in the 3rd period that put the Sockers ahead 3-2, and after this, the Sox really turned it on. Keep your eye on the ball here as Ben Collins is going to kick it into the middle, and watch Paul Wright use his head. Flying into your picture and into the goal. Sockers took a 4-2 lead from there. And then Baltimore tried something a little risky, and it didn't work. They pulled the goalie with 7 minutes left, and the Sockers' West Wade scored 2 empty net goals. Sockers coasted in from here. The final score, San Diego 6 and Baltimore 3. Wade had 2 goals. Thompson Usian with 2 goals. 9,520 showed up at the Sports Arena, and here he is, the guest of honor, Brian Quinn. Sockers hosting Baltimore, and Thompson Usian had a blast. That was one of his 2 goals tonight, and deuces were wild. West Wade also had a pair. Doesn't get any easier than this. I could have made that. The empty netter put the Sockers up 5-2, Then just 20 seconds later, Wade was at it again. His second goal of the game helped the Sockers to a 6-3 win.
And to boot, the Sockers beat Baltimore 6-3. The Sockers take the lead. Paul Doherty gets it to Thompson. You see him. He will score. It's 1-0. First period. Then Kevin Crowe shoots it off the board. Right back to Kevin. Heads it to Alex Golovnia. He scores. It was 2-1 Sockers. Baltimore tied it. Rod Castro shoots. Ian Frazier the rebound. 2-2 game. Third period now. The ball will be kicked in front. Usian then will kick it in for his second of the game. It was 3-2 San Diego. Then Ben Collins to Paul Wright. Coming up, he goes with the header. Made it 4-2 Sockers. And Wes Wade will add insurance. He puts in 2 empty netters as Wade gets the pass and breezes in as the Sockers beat the Blast 6-3. As I mentioned, Brian Quinn is leaving the Sockers. Final game tonight. Got a big ovation from the crowd. Afterwards, Quinn talked about the emotional last game, and so did some fans who will miss Brian Quinn.
Fabulous night. It confirmed me all the other great memories I've had here. From the time I won my first championship, I became a naturalized citizen, winning the championship, and tonight, just great, you know. I just don't want to get caught up emotionally in it, but I hope I give as much to the fans here as what they give me tonight.
It's like he ties the whole team together. It's like more of a bonding. It's like a unity with the whole team together. So it's going to be really sad to see him go.
He's one of the best players soccer's ever had. So it's sad. But hopefully he'll be back. I mean, it'll be a loss, but I think the Sockers will manage to go on.
What is there about him that you like?
That he would always be scoring goals.
Within 2 minutes. So yeah, I mean, some people are more talented than others in pinball, that's for sure. Takes a little skill. Soccer takes a lot of skill. That's what we're going to start with. How'd you like that transition? Kind of smooth, huh? So the third night in a row, there was a huge crowd at the sports arena, and this time, they didn't need a bikini contest. Instead, the Sockers took the floor against St. Louis. Great game. Sockers trailed 6-5 with less than a minute to go. Watch what happened. Terry Woodbury kicks it inside. Tim Whitman takes a shot. Then Thompson Yusian puts it in to tie the game 6-6 with just 30 seconds left. You see Jim Gorsuch, the St. Louis goalie, upset that the ref didn't call it, but it took the game into overtime, and when it did, Paul Wright won it on a free kick right there. Sockers win 7-6, the final score in OT. 2 goals for Wright, 2 for Yusian, 2 for Paul Doherty. Sockers now 14-6 and in first place in
from the West on these two teams. So with the win, the Sox now lead the Western Division by 3 full games. Also set an MSL record tonight, 7 straight wins. Second quarter here, Paul Wright to Thompson Yusian, back to Wright, and he heads it in. A nice little header there, 1-0 Sockers. And that's where it was at the half. And then in the fourth quarter, Wes Wade, the bomb from Ben Collins, and just like that, it's 3-1 Sockers. Later, Wings insert a 6th attacker, and they get burned. Wright will score second of the night. Sox go on to win 4-3. Wade, 1 goal, 1 assist, and Josh Lotto score a couple assists for the Sockers. Meanwhile, schedule.
Now they play 4 games in 7 days. Incredible. Sockers leading the Major Soccer League increased tonight with a 4-3 win at Wichita. They now lead the Wings and Dallas by 3 games. And tonight against the Wings in Wichita, the goaltending of Victor Nogueira came in handy. He shut out the Wings for 3 periods. Sockers played most of the game without defender Ben Collins, who was hurt early on when he was rammed into the boards. Collins did return for a couple of shifts late in the game. They got a couple of goals from Paul Wright. This one's a thing of beauty. On the header, and the Sockers held on to beat Wichita 4-3. Getting to a 4-3 win over Wichita tonight, and a 3-game lead in the MSL. Great goal to start with. Right on the move. Dished off to Thompson Yusian, then got it back and put it in with his head. That made it 1-0. Game was still 1-0 in the third period. Terry Woodbury used White as a decoy and ripped the upper left-hand corner. Now, after the Wings made it 2-1, Ben Collins, the bomb, downfield, Wes Wade, and the goal had, or the Sockers had a 2-goal lead. Game winner, though, went to Wright. He got to Jacques Ladouceur, a shot that was just off the target and banged in 4-3.
Almost. Yeah, we'll start with the Sockers. Sockers had their 7-game win streak on the line tonight out at the arena as they got together with the Cleveland Crunch. Exciting game. Paul Dougherty, 3 goals tonight. First one right now, he made it 3-0 Sockers. Sockers actually led 4-0, then cost
chopped up the bit, gave up 5 straight goals. The last one right there by Dave Hagen, 5-4 crunch lead. San Diego then ties it late. 6th attacker on. Crow to Woodbury. On to Ben Collins, who scores 5-5. Then in overtime, Dougherty won it. Final 6-5. Sockers win. Sports Arena down.
Another night and
Another victory.
that's right. They are hot. Sockers are streaking. It took a comeback after blowing a 4-0 lead to edge Cleveland 6-5 at the Sports Arena tonight. Sockers have won 8 in a row, and it didn't take them long to start scoring this evening. Just 30 seconds into the game, Thompson, you see, and gets the ball in front, pokes it home, and it's 1-0. Now, late in the first period, nice pass from Alex Golovnia to Paul Doherty, who made it 3-0 San Diego. Looked like it was going to be a rout. Early in the second period, Dougherty scored his second of 3 goals on the night. The Sockers led 4-0, but it was Dougherty completing the hat trick in overtime to give the Sockers a 6-5 win.
4 lead late in the game tonight, but the Sockers didn't mind. They tied it, went to overtime, and won it 6-5. The Sockers have won 8 games in a row now. Up 1-0 first period. Paul Wright adds to the lead. 2-0. Still first period. Alex Golovnia to Paul Doherty. He scores 3-0. Doherty had a great night. He will take Paul Wright's shot off the boards and score his second of the night. It was 4-4 late in the game. Crunch in front. Michael King makes it 5-4 crunch. But with the 6th attacker out there, the Sockers will tie. Ben Collins made it 5-5, and then Doherty won it in overtime with his 3rd goal of the night.
Dallas at the Sports Arena tonight. The Sockers winning their 9th in a row, 6-3 the final. They led 1-0 at the half and exploded for 3 third-period goals. The first on the deflection by Tim Whitman. And defender Alex Golovnia, usually not known for his scoring, banged home a pair of goals. This one from long range made it 3-1 San Diego. Later on in the third, nice pass sets up Paul Doherty to make it 4-2. Sockers easy over the sidekick, 6-3.
The Sockers are also fun to watch, and they opened up a little more breathing room tonight over second-place Dallas. They beat the sidekick 6-3, now lead the MSL by 4.5 games. It was eye chart night at the arena. Ron Newman, the good guy that he is, wanted to make sure the officials had theirs. Now, 54 seconds in, Jacques Baudousseur blasted a shot at goalie Joe Papaleo and right through his arms. Then, 24 seconds into the third period, Paul Wright's shot redirected in by Tim Whitman. 2-0 Sockers. Alex Golovnia had a good night. 2 goals. Here's one of them, went right off a defender. The Sockers led 3-0. Dallas fought back, though. Give them credit. Jan Goossens to Mike Powers in the fly. It was a 3-2 game. And that was pretty much close enough. Ben Collins set up Paul Dougherty to make it a 4-2 game. Then it was Collins' turn. Now, Papaleo had his eyes on the ball, but not his hands. Right through and trickled into the net, then made it 5-2. Then Dougherty got his 200th point as the Socker. Golovnia picked up his second goal of the night, and the Sockers coached home easily 6-3.
Wichita Wings tonight out at our arena. They've flown in the rest of this season. The Sockers, hey, they're going to do it again. 7-2 winners tonight over the Wichita Wings. 5 different Sockers scored. John Kerr right here on the deflection off of Paul Wright. Wright, 3 goals, 2 assists. Sockers, as I said, win 7-2. That's their 10th straight win. They now lead Dallas and Wichita by 5.5 games. I say, that race is over. Scheduled for tomorrow's Olympics, our hockey team.
Marty and I had to leave and come back to work. Then the Sockers outscored Wichita 5-0 in the second half to win it 7-2. Victor Noguera makes the save with his legs, traps the ball right there, and then falls down on, makes sure nobody gets to it. Second half was wild. Here's some of the highlights. And some great effort there. Ben Collins to Jacques Baudousseur. It gets better. Paul Wright came up with probably the most phenomenal effort of the season right there. Avoids one defender, another. So gets control of the ball. Over to Thompson, you see him. Back to Wright. He scores. He had 3 goals, 2 assists. He now has 50 points on the season. And the Sockers now have a 5.5 game lead over second place Wichita and Dallas.
Their 10th straight game tonight. Paul Wright, what a great season he's had. 3 more goals. The Sockers beat Wichita 7-2. It was a rough game. Wes Wade breaking away, but he is pulled down from behind. Then, right from the upstart, Wright will take the shot and score. It was a 1-1 game second quarter, still before half. Coming up, Terry Woodbury will come in with a blast. He shoots and scores. Everyone is happy. High fives all around. And as you'll see, there was a high five right in the eye for John Kerr. Woodbury did it by accident. Kerr was okay. And so were the Sockers. They exploded in the second half, beat Wichita 7-2.
Lost because Marty didn't go or because we did a live shot with Victor Noguera before the game.
He broke his concentration.
We jinxed him. He had an 11-game personal win streak in goal, but they lost. Goodbye, 11-game Sockers win streak. Sockers' first loss since 1991, sometime in December. Cleveland 7, Sockers 5. The Crunch won even without their top scorer, Doran Karich. Wild first quarter, George Fernandez scored to make it 3-0 Crunch, but great effort here by Thompson-Usian with the header as the Sockers scored 4 straight goals. It was tied 4-4 at the half, but the Crunch outscored the Sockers 3-1 in the second half to win. Sockers play Tacoma on Sunday. Marty promises to be there.
And they'll win.
Awards go to the maintenance workers at the San Diego Sports Arena. On Thursday night, they set up for a state basketball game. Friday, for a Michael Bolton concert. Saturday during the day, the Terry Norris fight. Last night, another basketball game. Tonight, they had the arena ready to go for the Sockers. They were taking on Tacoma. Here's what the arena looked like. Hard to believe they've changed the face 6 times in the last 4 days. As you see, the Sockers came ready to play. Tim Whitman with an early goal to tie the game at 1. Later, you'll see John Kerr in front. Then Paul Doherty comes up with a shot. And later, Paul Wright puts it in, and they had a 2-1 lead. After this, the Sockers continued to do battle. Look at this goal from Thompson-Usian. Up in the air off the inside of his foot. Great shot right there. Sockers go on to win 8-3. The final score tonight from the Sports Arena. San Diego wins. To boxing ring Saturday night, to a basketball court last night, to soccer tonight, if you follow me. The Sockers beating Tacoma on goals here by Tim Whitman. Then Thomas Usian scores. The crowd, as you're about to see, will go flag-waving crazy. As you're about to see. There it is. Usian, another goal right through the goaltender's legs, and the Sockers win it 8-3. Against Tacoma 8-3, you saw Whitman's goal to tie it. Thompson-Usian, a great shot there. Great shot. One of his 2. They put him ahead, 3-1, as I recall. And then this one again by Usian makes it 6-2.
Guarantees him at least a 500 record. He'll do a lot better than that. Good play here. Paul Dougherty goes to Ben Collins as 6 different Sockers scored last night. Of course, Paul Wright did too. Here he is. Again, good footwork. The 11th straight game he has scored at least 1 goal, his 39th of the season. Sockers don't play at home again until March 4th when they host Tacoma. There was one.
It's fitting that it was hat night at the Sports Arena tonight because Paul Dougherty had a hat trick as the Sockers put the lid on Baltimore. This was an old-fashioned blowout. Thompson-Usian works his magic in the corner. The Sockers take a 1-0 lead. Sockers treated the 11,000 fans to a quick 4-0 lead. Kevin Crow picks up the deflection there. Sockers rout Baltimore 8-1. They own a
Stone joins us. Sockers put on a good show for a big crowd tonight.
That's right, hat night at the Sports Arena, so they were entertaining. The Sockers responded coming off that loss last night in Tacoma. They blasted Baltimore 8-1 tonight at the Sports Arena. Pick up the highlights in the second period. Sockers already leading 3-0, and watch the blast from Paul Doherty to make it 4-zip. Then in the third, Paul Wright, a little bit lucky. His shot is not wide, but deflects in. And it's 5-1 all of a sudden. Then it is Wright to Doherty. 6-1 San Diego. Boy, the rout is really on. And Doherty completed the hat trick moments later, scoring on the rebound. Sockers end up beating up on Baltimore 8-1.
And it's 5-1 Sockers. Then Doherty will collide with John Kerr right here. Doherty was okay. He got credit for the goal. He had 3 goals in the game. And finally, Tim Whitman scores his second of the night. Sockers breeze 8-1.
He picked up where Dougherty left off. He also had a pair of goals. Sockers had to come from behind to win, but they do. They win at 5-4. They now have a 5.5-game lead in the division.
Little face.
Yeah, I should have known. Sockers had to come from behind, then hold on to beat the Tacoma Stars 5-4 at the Sports Arena. Tacoma, with the worst road record in the league, actually led 3-1 when I left. That was in the second quarter. Had to come back to work. Anyway, the Sockers then went to work. Paul Dougherty with the score right there. This was early in the game, made it 1-1. Terry Woodbury scored twice, as did Dougherty. Woodbury ties the game here in the third quarter at 3-3. The go-ahead goal, that was a rocket, by the way, wasn't it? The go-ahead goal came on a nice give and go. Alex Golovnia to Paul Dougherty. Perfect pass, and score it. The Sockers are now 22-8 on the season with a 5.5.
Oh, yeah. Promoting yourself. Well,
Come on, Hank. Back off.
Mitch Tucker, New Day Saudi Arabia. We love you, Mitch. Sockers extended to overtime tonight out at the arena by a slumping Wichita team. We like you, Mitch. Come on. They lost 8 out of 10 coming in. Wichita did. Paul Dougherty, a couple goals tonight, ties the game at 1-1 off the Paul Wright. Terry Woodbury, the XL sidekick, he scored in his 12th straight game.
makes it 3-2 wings. Tim Whitman, he gave the Sockers a 4-3 lead. That didn't last. Regulation ended in a 5-5 tie. Doc Ladouceur then won it for the Sox in OT. There's Whitman with the nice hairdo. 6-5 the final. Speaking of nice hairdos, how you doing?
Back from the sports arena tonight. When these two teams play, it is a very tough physical game. It's one of the great sports cliches.
Wichita likes
physical game.
Wichita likes to play a rough.
Yes, they
Sockers
do.
really don't. At times they like to run with you. They ran with them in the second half. The Sockers look like two different teams, depending on which half of their game was Wichita. I just saw tonight at the sports arena. They looked lethargic in the first half, dynamic in the second as they clipped the Wings 6-5 in overtime. Take a peek. Fourth period. John Curtis, Tim Whitman, who barely pokes it home, and the Sockers led 4-3 later on in the fourth. Some of the technical problems here with the feed on our satellite. Anyway, you'll see Woodbury shot off the wall. Lucian takes the rebound shot. Whitman gets the goal. Great shot coming up by Woodbury, folks. You're going to have to see this baby to believe it. Watch it. Woodbury, Whitman, and Wright had 2 goals each league. This looks one way, hits the ball the other. Sockers now magic number to clinch the regular season title is down to 3. And Sockers' magic number to win another MSL regular season title is shrinking. It's down to 3 after a 10-7 win in Baltimore this afternoon. They were down 5-2 at the half, but came all the way back to tie it as Paul Wright's shot gets past the keeper and deflects off the post into the goal. They went ahead when the Blast lost the ball in their own end. Kevin Crow traps it, shoots and scores to put the Sockers up 7-6. A few seconds later, Baltimore's keeper heads it right to Tim Whitman, a former teammate, who scores. And the Sockers won it 10-7.
The Blast leading 5-3. Terry Woodbury, a long goal, made it 5-4. It's now a 6-6 game. Baltimore goalie Chris McCarroll knocked it right out to Kevin Crow. He settles it down and then scores. It was 7-6 San Diego. Just a few seconds later, Vicario, this time, he heads it right to Tim Whitman of the Sockers. Whitman scores one of his 2 goals. It was 8-6 Sockers. And how about a long-range empty netter in this one? David Banks from his own zone, and kaboom, it's in. 10-7. Sockers win it.
7-3. Take a peek. Paul Wright goal coming up here. He's going to break away. Use your head a little bit here, Paul. You bet. You watch the kick, gets in the goal. 3 goals for Wright tonight. He gets the hat trick. Magic number now 2 to clinch for San Diego. Tim Whitman gets another goal right here. Does it all by himself. Kaboom. We get 2 more wins for the Sockers, and they get the title.
And their magic number, the Sockers, that is now 2 games. Paul Doherty, Paul Wright, the Pauls, they led the way. Third quarter, score tied 2-all, and Paul Doherty, his second goal of the night. And later, third quarter, Paul Wright, the leading scorer in the MSL, his second of the game. Ended up having a hat trick, 3 goals tonight. Sox won 7-3. Goalie Victor Noguera, he is 6.
They scored 5 second-half goals to do it. Sockers took a 2-1 lead at the half on a perfect give-and-go. Paul Wright scoring. Then in the third period, watch this. Kevin Crow with the super pass to Wright, who uses his head to get open and then blasts the big shot home to make it 5-2. Sockers beat Tacoma. Steph
Clinch the first round of the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start right now, and Cleveland just gives the Sockers fits, as you'll see. Guess who was at the game? Yeah, our boy, Eddie. Yeah, he was there. Excellent sign, people. It's Ted, by the way.
I like the sign. Good sign. And they're not worthy. They're absolutely right.
Humble pie. First time in like 3 years we went to a game. Third quarter, John Kerr on the breakaway. That made it 5-2 Sockers. This thing was a rout. But in the fourth, Cleveland comes back. Sox up 6-5. Crunch ties it with 55 seconds to go. 6-6 on to overtime where they win it on the breakaway by Rudy Pikuzinski. Sox for a 6-2 lead. They lose in overtime 7-6. Rudy Pikuzinski. Now, speaking of blowing,
Sockers got out to a 6-2 lead over Cleveland, then went to sleep. Cleveland rallied to win it 7-6 in overtime. Cleveland got 5 goals in the final 7 or 8 minutes. Here's some of the action from happier times early in the game when Marty was there enjoying the action. Paul Doherty scores in the pass from Paul Wright. Everything was going right. Like Paul Wright down the right side. Puts it right in. Sockers' next goal came on pretty smart play by Tim Whitman. Watch him down low. That's him in front of the crease. Well, right there. Heads it in. If he was in the right spot at the right time, but Cleveland's rally spoiled the fun for the crowd of 9,400. The Sockers are now 5-5 over their past 10 games, struggling towards the playoffs. They play at second place Wichita.
Sports Arena. 1, they can still win. The Sockers bombed Dallas 7-1 to end a 3-game losing streak. They also found out they'll face Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs starting Wednesday night. Sockers had lost 5 of their last 6 going into tonight. A few of the players who missed last night's game in St. Louis, like Wes Wade, looked real good tonight. Wade made it 1-0. Minutes later, it's Thompson-Ucine to Terry Woodbury to make it 2-0. And late in the second period, John Kerr scored to make it 3-0. The Sockers won 7-1. Paul Wright with a pair of goals to finish the season with 50.
Concerned about the Sockers slump, you'll rest easy tonight. They destroyed the Sidekicks in the season finale tonight. No score in the first quarter. Terry Woodbury put the Sockers on the board. Things were just getting started, folks. The Sockers were up 4-0 when Paul Dougherty, he didn't get the first one, but as fate would have it, second time's the charm. The Sockers with a 5-0 lead. They scored 4 goals in the second period. Paul Wright delivers a penalty kick there. The Sockers are on a roll. They win it 7-1. They'll be in the playoffs starting Wednesday night again. Where you want to be tonight. You know, someone, though, forgot to tell the Sockers playoffs started tonight at about 7:30. They waited until about 9 o'clock before they got things going against Baltimore. The Blast appeared to have their first win at the Sports Arena. Sockers were down 3-0, but when Paul Doherty stuck it in, it was tied 3-3. Sockers had taken a brief lead, but Baltimore answered. Gene Harbor ties it with less than 2 minutes left in the game. Everyone's thinking it's going to overtime, but just 8 seconds later, Dougherty found Thompson-Ucine, and he stuck in the game winner. Sockers win a thrilling game 5-4. They lead the series 1-0.
So the wake-up call came midway in the third quarter for the Sockers. Till then, it did not look very good for the home team. Sockers fell behind the Baltimore Blast 3-0. But finally, as I walk out the door, things really got going. Paul Dougherty right there, he scores once. He also assisted on 3 others, and that tied the game. Now here's one of the assists to Dougherty. He gets it over to Paul Wright, who puts it in. That's a beautiful play. Those two guys working together so well. Wright with the celebration. That gave the Sockers the lead. But about a minute later, Baltimore scored on the goal right here by Gene Harbor to tie it again. But 8 seconds after that, Dougherty with his 3rd assist of the night. That's a great effort by Thompson-Ucine out front. We asked Dougherty to explain how it happened.
The ball I gave him was a little bit behind him, and he did some theatrical overhead slice kick, wherever it was. It was something out of the circus, and finished up in the back of the net and finished up winning the game for us.
Sockers win 5-4. No doubt he's going to be a sportscaster one day. Game 2 of the best-of-7 series Friday night at the Sports Arena.
A little scare from Baltimore tonight. Sockers started off very well this evening. We'll pick it up with Paul Doherty, who had the Sockers' first 2 goals tonight. This one put the Sockers up 2-1. They increased that lead after a free kick. You see David Bank's shot here doesn't go, but Jacques Ladouceur gets the deflection to go. 3-1 lead. It didn't hold up. They went to overtime. The Sockers escaped with Kevin Crow's goal. They win it 5-4. They lead the series.
Well, tonight they beat the Blast 5-4 in overtime. This was a game of last-second shots. 6 seconds left in the third period. Terry Woodbury bombed one in, 4-3 Sockers. Then with 28 seconds left in regulation, former Socker Rod Castro connected from the far board to send it to overtime. But with 5 minutes gone in the extra period, Alex Columbia set up Kevin Crow on the far side. He beat Chris Vaquero to give the Sockers a 2-1 series edge. Now the Kings
Wait, they're just not there. Sockers 6-3 winners back in Baltimore last night. Thompson-Ucine, he had a goal, 3 assists in the game. Paul Dougherty, also a goal, 3 assists. Game 5 is tomorrow night back in Baltimore. Here is a nice goal, easy goal by Dougherty. Sockers lead the series 3-1. They could end it tomorrow night. The Sockers, think about it. They don't even take a backup goalie along with them because of money, I guess.
The series, Paul Dougherty and Thompson-Ucine had 2 goals apiece, but Dougherty turns into a playmaker here. His pass headed in by Jacques Ladouceur. That gave the Sockers a 4-1 lead in the third. A fluke goal made it 5-1. Take a peek. Tim Whitman's pass will deflect in off Dominic Mobilio. Sockers won it 6-3 in a very physical game.
Replay of the penalty, and Woodbury, no mistake there as he found the far post side and beat Chris Vaquero. Look at the beautiful one-touch pass, and then Woodbury beating Neely to the ball, and then just flipping it to that far side. No chance for Chris. You were able to adjust with your other foot to score the goal. Thomas, talk about it.
Well, all I knew is the ball came bouncing across. I whipped on it big time. The first one was a shot. It wasn't a pass off the ball. And I knew it went that far wide, it turned out to be a pass. It was that bad of a shot, the first one, with my left foot. And luckily, being so small, I'm able to turn swiftly in the box and give me enough time to just
complete. And again, Rusty Troy, the victim, as he's taken out of the play with that good combination of passing. Woodbury second of the playoffs. Dougherty the assist at 11-10 to make it 1-0 on the power play. Mobilio came back to get one for Baltimore, a rare goal for him in the series. And then the Blast would go on to front there, 3-2. That team at 12-34. And then the Sockers did their damage in the fourth period. Got it right. Columbia shot. Here's Dougherty. And this would turn out to be the game winner. Off the glass, gets his own rebound. The right footer beating Vaccaro. And that would be the game-winning goal in another one-goal game. 4 out of the 5 in this series.
In the MSL title game for the 10th time in 11 years. Ron Newman's club got a quick start in Baltimore tonight. Paul Doherty and Terry Woodbury worked the give and go. Sockers a quick 1-0 lead. Later, Dominic Morbillo beat Victor Norgera, tied 1-1. 3-3 game in the fourth quarter when Paul Doherty got the game winner. He gets his own rebound, knocks it in. The Sockers come home with an impressive 4-3 win. They'll await the Cleveland-Dallas winner for the MSL championship game. The Sidekicks are kicking some with a 4-1 lead. Second quarter, Wes Wade is on the move. He finds Tim Whitman. A shorthanded goal. Went into the locker room, tied 5-5. Move to the third quarter. Paul Wright on the shootout. He wins it to tie it again. Now it's 7 apiece. But here's your game winner. Paul Dougherty, the miss. But David Banks lives up to his last name. The Sockers take it tonight. 9-7. They hold a 2-game lead in the series.
Had a hat trick. 2 of them coming on shootout goals. This one tied the game at 7 late in the third period. Then in the fourth, watch the ball pop loose. On the rebound, it comes back to David Banks. He shoots and scores, and the Sockers go up 8-7. And here comes a beautiful goal by Thompson Usean, who had a pair. Watch him play it off the boards to himself. Gets around here.
Because you've been working?
Or had a prior obligation.
And they might wrap it up in Dallas.
Yes.
They might. They might. Who knows, though? But it looks as if they'll be measuring for rings pretty soon. Sockers beat the Dallas Sidekicks 5-4 in overtime to take a commanding 3-0 lead in their best-of-7 MSL Final Series. This is the goal that tied the game to Dallas in white. Tattoo scores on the rebound. Then less than 2 minutes into overtime, the Sockers put the pressure on Dallas, and Jimmy McGeough scores on the rebound, his first goal as a Socker. 5-4 the final again in overtime. Big-time celebration. Tim Whitman's excited. They swarm on McGeough. This is fun to watch. So the Sockers can clinch with a win Friday night in Dallas. If so, it will be their 10th indoor title in 11 seasons. What a streak, huh?
For his first goal as a Socker, it was a dandy. A minute 57 in overtime. The Sox take Dallas 5-4. Sidekicks led 1-0, but Paul Wright and Thompson Usean teamed up to tie the game at 1. Usean off the boards, right in the right spot. Later in the first half, Terry Woodbury came back to haunt his old teammates. His goal gave the Sockers a 2-1 halftime lead. And reason to celebrate a little bit. Tim Whitman then scored 2 in a row. Dallas came back, but McGeough won it in overtime. The Sockers can claim the title with a win on Friday night.
Winners last night, again down in Dallas. Sox now lead the best-of-7 championship series 3-0. There's Whitman. Yeah, his hair's kind of going back now. They had a couple goals. That made a 4-3 Sox fourth quarter. Tattoo. The Sockers hate this little guy. The guy takes his shirt off after he scores. He ties the game at 4-all. Went to overtime. Jimmy McGeough, a defender, gets his first MSL goal to win it. Final 5-4. Game 4 Friday night in Dallas. I kind of like seeing him lose Friday.
First 8, Dallas 2 at the Sports Arena tonight, and the Sockers win the MSL Finals 4-2. And they came out and took control of the game early, scoring 4 times in the first quarter. The long pass to Thompson Usean. Watch the quick move. Yeah, he was named the MVP of the series. That put the Sockers up 4-1. Paul Wright scored on the restart to make it 5-2. Sockers led 6-2 at the half. And Paul with his number carved in the back of the head. That's how many championships he's been in on, too, for the Sockers. And Paul Dougherty pretty much put it away with this give-and-go goal in the third period. Doesn't matter what sport, what league, 10 titles in 11 years is truly incredible, especially to win again this year with new owners and so many new players.
It feels great. I've been telling people this is what the game is all about. Being in a good position to win a championship. Now, if I leave this game, I can look back and be proud of my accomplishments. Not only that I won the MVP, but at least I'm in one of the greatest teams in the whole award.
It gets sweeter every year. Every year it gets sweeter. It's harder and harder every year. And more, I just can't believe we're still doing it. It's an unbelievable feeling.
That was Paul with his mother, Mrs. Wright. And Thompson was wearing the green jersey because after the game, a lot of the players switched with the opposing team. The vanquished, the Dallas Sidekicks, who go home. Runners up again as the Sockers do it.
Beating Dallas 8-2 to win the championship. A few minutes into the game, the Sockers off and running. Thompson Usean saw Paul Wright. That made it 1-0.
Gary Woodbury with a wicked left footer. Scott Manning watched him sail by. It's been a great goal. You won't see any better. You see him, the series MVP, a spin, a kick, a goal. That made it 4-1. Now next it was Paul Wright with a blast right through two defenders. They just got out of the way and he kicked it in the net. Scott Manning wasn't too happy with that one. Then just before halftime, Wright with a hat trick. The Sockers led 6-2, and this one, for all intents and purposes, was over. So for the 10th time in 11 years, the Sockers are the MSL champs. And for the boss man, head coach Ron Newman, it's a title he'll always remember.
This one, I don't know, for some reason was a bit special. I don't know why, but it just, I guess it seemed to be a little bit out of our reach going in. And then I guess it looked to be easy. And I had feelings it was going to slip away.
Quinn set a new MSL record. Sockers are the first team to win 5 titles in a row. But it was a convincing 8-2 win over the Dallas Sidekicks to win that series 4-2. Thompson-Usian was named the most valuable player. Here's one reason why. What a quick move and a great goal right there as the Sockers went up 4-1 in the first quarter and dominated from that point on. One constant, all these championships, all these years as the head coach. How does he do it?
If I knew, I'd put it in a bottle and become a very rich man. But I just don't know what happens. I mean, you saw today the level of play that the players managed to bring their game up to. Dallas is a very, very good side, and yet we didn't let them play. We just come out there with incredible momentum, and we just crushed them.
That they certainly did. Well, more in the chance of 6 o'clock championship, whatever it is now. They win last night in front of 10,000. They do not have to go to a game 7. Thompson-Usian with a marvelous kick there. 3-goal hat trick for him. Paul Wright, 3 last night as they win easily 8-2. Yes, they are the champions of the MSL again.
This is just great. I can't believe we got another one. This is so exciting. I can't believe it.
We need this championship so bad. For the team, for the franchise, and especially for me. I've been in this league for 7 years. Unbelievable. Makes it all worth it, you know. I'm glad they traded me.
I told Tim Whitman, stop using that term unbelievable. You know, I hate when guys do.
Dallas simply had no defense. Good example right here. Thompson-Usian, a great goal. He had the hat trick and was named the series MVP. Now, Wright also had the hat trick. Watch on this one. The two defenders just kind of got out of the way, right through the alley, into the net. No chance for Scott Manning. Now, Wright scored again just before halftime. That made it 6-2. For, well, all practical purposes, the ball game was over for the Sidekicks. So for the 5th time in a row, and that's a league record, the Sockers are the MSL champs, and they're ready to celebrate.
This one, I don't know, for some reason was a bit special. I don't know why, but it just, I guess it seemed to be a little bit out of our reach going in. And then I guess it looked to be easy. Then I had feelings it was going to slip away.
It feels better. It feels better than I thought it would. I mean, because you play 40 games, plus we speak Baltimore, that's where I'm from, and now we play here in front of the home crowd, everything. It's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, this is what you work for all your life, and fortunate enough to be in this position right now. Very tough series for us. And we were winning 3-0 in the series, and they came back and won 3-2. So it was one of the few times a team has ever done that to us, and it was great. We had to come back today and play a desperate game. And we raised our game. We had to raise our game today. It was great.
This championship was known as one for the thumbs. So next year they'll start working on rings for the toes.
Clinched the MSL title. Their 5th in a row. It's 10th in 11 years. It was a terrific show. Jim Stone takes another look at the title game.
Sockers fans were counting down to another championship celebration, and the team that can only be described as a dynasty obliged. Some of the names had changed this season, but that didn't stop the Sockers, who can sing "We Are the Champions" for the 5th straight year.
I seem to be more excited tonight than I've been several times, you know, and because I guess I didn't think we were going to do it.
Thompson-Usian's second of 3 goals in last night's clinching 8-2 win over Dallas clinched the MVP award for him. But at the age of 36, after being acquired this season from St. Louis, Usian was finally part of a championship team.
This is what the game is all about, being in a good position to win a championship. Now, if I leave this game, I can look back and be proud of my accomplishment.
While the celebration continued, the man who saved the Sockers from extinction was beaming with pride.
1 out of 1, huh? I guess we're batting 1,000. This is great. Now I know what the other owners feel.
I don't care what the sport, winning back-to-back championships is hard enough. The Sockers have now won 5 in a row, 10 of the last 11 years. An incredible run by an incredible franchise. At the Sports Arena, Jim Stone, KNSC News, San Diego.
Really was a great show. Congratulations to everybody associated with the Sockers. Well, who will be
The Padres are not champions. The Chargers are not champions. The Aztecs are not champions. So they're the only ones that are, right? Right. And Thompson, you see, in one of his 3 in the proverbial hat trick, as it were, and likewise for Paul Wright. 8-2, your Sockers are the champions again.
Scared. Dallas had us scared, but God, the lads played unbelievable tonight, you know. And they were ready, and I really just too much.
It wasn't close at all, so there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to congratulate them. They came out, they play as a team, they play together, and tonight, they deserve it.
Okay. Not too many guys with just the first name like Tattoo. You know, there's Martina, there was Fabian, those of you who are old enough to remember, and there's Tattoo. So that takes care of the Sockers are champions yet again. And was it 10 of 11 years? I've lost track of the camp, something in that range. That's a lot of championships to a lot of different ownerships. And Ron Newman seems to be the constant. Have you noticed that? They keep lowering the salary cap to, what is it now, $1.50 for the entire, per team. And they lose players, Segoda's leave, and so forth. Newman is the one constant, and he must be something because he always molds a championship. Amazing, I think.